Okay, so funerals are meant to be really sad. And honestly, funerals are really sad because people get in their emotions, people start crying, people start getting really sad. But there was one moment back when I was a kid, this funeral ended up being the most sussest funeral of them all. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to a super embarrassing story. Now, before the story starts, just make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe, because if you guys don't subscribe, I will gladly punch a hole through your monitor or whatever screen you're watching this on. If you're watching it on a phone, chances are I will punch it through your phone. No, seriously, I will straight, never mind. Anyways, let's just jump straight into this. So this story all starts off back when I was in high school. It was my grade 10 year, and I remember basically in my grade 10 year, there was a girl that I knew that was really good friends with me. Now, me and her, we were really good friends, but like in a way, I guess we were friends with benefits. I don't know. It was a really awkward situation because obviously like she like had like a liking for a different guy, but she enjoyed my eggplant more than that guy. I don't know the whole situation with her, and to be honest, that's her story to tell, not mine. But basically, I was friends with benefits with this one girl. Now, this one girl, I remember one time, it was in the middle of science class, and she came up to me. Now, she wasn't in my science class. She literally just decided to walk through the door and look at me saying, "I really need to talk to you." And when I looked at her, I thought something was totally wrong. So I remember I walked out of the classroom, and my teacher let me for some reason. And I stood out in the hallway looking at her saying, "Is everything good? What's wrong?" She looked at me and said, "I'll be honest with you here. I have a really bad situation." "What's your situation? What did you do?" Now, me in my mind, I thought this girl was going to tell me that she had like an STD and she passed it on to me, and I was about to freak out. But then she ended up saying, "Remember that guy I was seeing? Yeah, the one you like? Well, he ended up getting in a really bad car accident and like he died." Now, at this moment, I'm not going to lie to you. I wasn't smiling, nor was I laughing. I had more of a shocked expression face that the Joker would make, where it's like you know, one of the, like, you know, it sounds really bad when I say it, but you know what? It was one of those really sad, but like, whoa, really not surprising kind of moments, because this guy was totally deluded and he would always drink and drive. He would always do drugs and drive. And by the way, don't do any of those. If you guys want to be smart and you guys want to be safe drivers or safe high schoolers or smart people on the road, don't be on a substance. It is not smart. I shouldn't have to mention that on this channel. It just should be common sense. But anyways, going on with the story, I remember when she told me that, I kind of like eked out a little bit and I didn't know what to say. But then she ended up handing me a flyer saying, "I'm going to his funeral next week. Is it cool if you come with me? I just don't want to be alone and I just want to have a familiar face." Yeah, sure. I'll go to his funeral, I guess. Now, honestly, I think that was one of the first times I ever been invited to a funeral, and I didn't know what to do nor say. But basically, I remember from there, I ended up going back to my science classroom, and when I walked back in, everyone was looking at me and the flyer I was holding. And that's when they were kind of shocked about how I was invited to go to this guy's funeral, even though all I did was just sleep with the girl that he was gonna be seeing, that he was planning on seeing. I don't know. It was one of those situations. But going on, I remember the next week came around, and I remember I was putting on my black suit and black tie and just totally all black outfit, and I was getting ready for this funeral. My mom came downstairs and told me how, you know, I should be respectful and how I should not be, you know, making any jokes, nothing funny. And I told her, I know what a funeral is like, Mom. Like, I've seen it in video games, okay? Like, I know how to chill out in a funeral. And then afterwards, she ended up telling me, "Okay, Bubba, just make sure you make smart decisions, okay? This is a very serious time." Gotcha. Is what I told her. And then that's when I ended up basically getting ready, and I ended up getting in my car, driving to the girl's place, picking her up, and driving straight to the funeral. Now, I remember on the way to the funeral house, she ended up like literally tearing up and crying. And me, I really did not want to be there at that moment, because obviously like what was I supposed to do? But then afterwards, I remember we went to the funeral, we ended up sitting down, and that's when the whole ceremony began. You know, everyone was all sad. People were crying. Parents were crying. And honestly, it was a pretty sad moment. But one thing I started realizing was that the girl beside me, I don't know why she wasn't crying. I looked over at her and I'm like, this was literally the guy you were gonna see. Why aren't you crying? I didn't say it to her, but obviously that's what I was thinking. But then she looks over at me when I'm staring at her, and she looks at me right into my eyes, and she looks at me saying, "Bubba, I'm in the mood." What? Now, if you guys don't know what the mood is basically my signal or my cue to whip out my schlong and start ramming it in her. I couldn't do that when we were in a funeral. She looks over at me, she's like, "Bubba, I think this is what he would have wanted." She ends up grabbing my thigh, and at that moment, I'm like, yo, like, you need to chill. Like, we're literally in the middle of a funeral. Now, honestly, I'm not surprised that you want to, you know, do the devil's tango. I'm not gonna lie, like, I look good in a suit. I always look good in a suit. I look godly in a suit. But the fact that this girl wanted to do it in a funeral house blew my mind. But obviously, you know, one of the things about my friends with benefits is that it's basically like a contract deal. Like whenever the girl wants it, she gets it. So at that moment, I'm thinking, okay, we could go to my car, but my car is parked all the way like downstairs and people would notice us leaving. What if we like go around the back? I'm not really sure what I was supposed to do. So at that moment, I remember this girl ended up standing up in the middle of a funeral speech and she ends up looking at me saying, bathroom in 2 minutes. She ends up going to the bathroom and then afterwards I sit there. I literally put like a timer on my watch, my Apple Watch at the time that I had. Yeah, I had an Apple Watch. I know I'm cool. I ended up putting a timer for 2 minutes. Right when the 2-minute mark hit, I remember I started getting up and I went straight to the bathroom as well. When I went to the bathroom, I ended up entering inside there and yeah, we ended up making out in the bathroom and we did the devil's tango at this dude's funeral. Now, many of you guys are saying that this was the most wrong thing ever and I'm probably gonna go to hell for this, and yeah, you're maybe right. But at the same time though, like I was doing this girl justice because like, you know, at the same time though, wouldn't this guy want this girl to be happy? Huh? You know what I'm saying? No, you know what? Actually, I don't know what I'm saying either. You know what? This story's been going on for too long, but that is basically it for today's story. Make sure you guys do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And like I always say, follow for more embarrassing stories. Peace out, guys.